Hi, everybody. I'm Ciara. I'm the teen librarian for Polo. I'm right now sitting in the basement of Rawlings. We can't all be in our office because we've got to keep social distancing, and our desks are a little too close together. So I'm here in the basement in a meeting room with a whiteboard behind me. You can't see it, but I thought just in case it was higher than my head, I did write nerd teen librarian with an arrow pointing at me. But you can't see it because that's what I am, and that's okay with me. So today I'm going to introduce you to a book that's older. It was actually published in 2008. However, that doesn't make it any less charming. And so I'm going to hold it up for you here. It is called How They Met and Other Stories by David Levithan. And most people who've heard of David Levithan think of him as the author of Boy Meets Boy, which I think was his first novel. I'm not entirely sure if that was his first, but it was an early one. Or the co-author of Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, which became a movie, which you may or may not have seen. It's a pretty cool movie. But he's a really great writer, and he somewhat frequently writes about, excuse me, the lives and experiences of gay young men, but not exclusively. And this book is obviously a book of short stories, right? But more interesting than that is that I don't know if most or a lot of them, he wrote for Valentine's Day. And when he was younger, he used to write these stories and give them to his friends. And not all of them, he points out, are actually Valentine's Day stories, but they're all about love. In its complexity, its confusion, its unpredictability, its scariness, and its joy. In other words, it ain't sappy. Yes, these are stories about love, and they're mostly about, first meeting people you love and all the feelings that go into that. Or maybe not first meeting, but first realizing that this person is someone that you love romantically. And one really interesting thing about this collection is that the stories in it sort of span not only his career, but go before his actual career as a published writer. There are stories that he wrote in college, and there's actually one story that he wrote for Valentine's Day over a period of months in his physics class. And it is a delightfully weird story, less sort of professional, if that word means anything to you, but it's really weird and funny, but it's also tackling an issue that's, serious. But anyway, one thing that I loved about it was that he didn't make any changes to these stories he had written as a younger man. And I just really loved that. Partly because he recognized the value of what he was writing when he was younger, and also because it sort of reflects his lack of gross pride or narcissism, that he's willing to share this story that maybe doesn't reflect the kind of writer he is, or he has become, but it is a part of the writer he is. That story is, it's, I can't really describe it, but he wrote it literally during physics class. He could not concentrate, so he would just write this story every day in physics over a period of months, and then he gave it to his friends. And its connection to physics is absolutely in the story, and and the story is told in this hilarious way. It's hard to explain. You have to sort of read it. And you don't even have to understand physics, really, or what he's talking about when he's referencing physics, but it's funny. And so anyway, there are a lot of delightful stories. They're really different. Each one is really different. Each one shines in its own way in what it's sort of tackling and what it's celebrating or examining. And recently, I've not had a ton of time to like devote to reading, and it can be hard to read novels if your time reading is in like smaller chunks, or it can be hard for me. Sometimes I can do it, and sometimes I feel like I just don't get really into it, and I get frustrated. But short stories are amazing for those times. And I've also been reading another book of short stories. I'm always reading like 4 books, but anyway, the ones I've been reading the most were this until I finished it, and another book of short stories. So don't forget about them. They're in the library. You can find them, and they're really great, especially if you don't feel like committing to one long novel, or might not have to be long, but one novel. If you'd rather sort of, dig into short stories, I definitely recommend it. And we've got some great collections at the library. So, yeah, I think we have this. We have this as an ebook because it's quite old. We don't have it as a paper book anymore because it is quite old and had stopped circulating much. But yeah, check it out. I don't know if it's on Hoopla or Overdrive or what, but I do know we have it. How We Met. You can just search for How We Met, and that's David Levithon. And I'd recommend just you read him in general. I've read a couple of his books. He's great. He's a great writer. So yeah, that's my book talk for today. And I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about next week. I have lots of books that I've started or want to read, and another short story book, but I think I'm going to save that for the next week. But anyway, so I'm not sure what's going to come up next week, but I will have something for you. I promise. And also, as usual, want to say that we're thinking about you, and we're hoping that you're staying healthy. And, things might change slowly, but, we have new leadership. The vaccine is trickling in. I know you guys, unless you're 16, probably aren't going to get them. But, members of your family who are older will. I mean, I'm most concerned about my parents getting them. My parents don't live in Colorado, but I'm just sort of like, when are my parents? Oh, shut up, phone. Sorry. I just can't wait for my parents to get them because it'll just take a weight off of me because I worry about them. But anyway, I also hope that you're taking care of yourselves up here. I'm trying to do that. Check in with your friends. No, you might not be able to see them, but check in with them. Call them, text them, video call them, play a game online. I'm hosting a Drawception game for the library. It should be fun and funny if anyone signs up. I've played it sort of in person. I've never played it online, but I imagine it's just as funny. So yeah, interact, take care of yourselves, take walks. And if you're having a really tough time, ask for help. There's absolutely no shame in asking for help. Find an adult you trust and ask for help. or call the line that's running along the bottom of this, okay? There's no shame in asking for help. And I hope you do if you need it. I genuinely hope with all of my being, okay? Because I don't want anybody to hurt more than they have to hurt right now. So the library cares about you. We miss you. We are open. You can only come in for an hour at a time, but it would be great to see you come in, check out the books, check one out, go on the computer for an hour, but you're welcome to come back, and we'd love to see everybody. We'd love to see you. So I'm going to sign off now, and take care of yourselves. As always, that's the most important thing to me, is that you all take care of yourselves. Okay? See you next week. Bye-bye.